the confidence limits. See, for example, I am going to have some truth or the facts related to the medical field. The normal blood ranges are based on the average blood test values of healthy population. That means a 95% of the healthy population or people have the values within this range. So that within is the keyword for my margin of error, and I am going to bring the lower limit and the upper limit. For example, if you are going to be considering the hemoglobin counts, for adult male, it should be somewhere between 13.5 to 17.5. So that is the given rule. So if you are going for a blood work and they are going to be doing the hemoglobin test on you, so if you are an adult male, then it should be somewhere between 13.5 to 17.5. So they are giving you the range of numbers. It could be anywhere between 13.5 to 17.5. So that is with the confidence level 95%. So that is what we are talking about here. So considering the bottom number as a 13.5, the top number as a 17.5, so everybody is supposed to have exactly 15.5, but that is not going to be happening, right? Because every single individual is different, every single sample is different. So that's not going to be happening for every single individual, which is supposed to be 15.5. So we are giving some margin of error. So the margin of error tells you the lower boundary, which is 13.5, 17.5. As long as you fall within this two range of numbers, that means you are considered as a healthy person. And the same way they have given the numbers for female, the hemoglobin count should be somewhere between 12 to 15.5. So that's what I'm talking about, the range of numbers. So the range of numbers is what I call it as the lower limit and the upper limit. And what is going to be the confidence level? The confidence level is, we are talking about 95% each. All right. So the same way we are given the hemoglobin values for the babies, infants, kids, and then 2 to 6 years, right? So this is the meaning of what we are doing now. So this is based on the application of the central limit theorem. Okay? So we cannot expect every single individual to have the same number. So on either side, we are giving some room. That is what I call it as the margin of error. Okay? All right, so the margin of error, I am giving the keyword with the within is the keyword, and then the range of numbers is going to be from 11.5 to 13.5. Yeah, all right. You can also write it as the margin of error. The twice margin of error is what I call it as the width, or you can also call that as the length of the interval. The length of the interval, or you can also call that as difference between the upper limit and the lower limit. Additional information: upper limit and the lower limit. So twice the margin of error, we call it as the width or the length, or you can also write it as the length of the interval, or you can write it as the difference between the upper limit and the lower limit. All right. So you see that I have posted some different examples where you can think about the application of the central limit theorem or the confidence limits. So you know that the weight category is based on the BMI, and the weight category is underweight, normal, overweight, obese. So this is true all over the universe, all over the world. These numbers are true. So how did they come up with these numbers? Nobody gave us the manual, right? So we invented these numbers. Okay, so if the BMI is less than 18.5, you are going to be classified as underweight. As long as your BMI is going to be between 18.5 to 25, yes, you are considered as a normal person. And then if your BMI is between 25 to 30, then you are going to be classified as overweight, and 30 and above is going to be obese, right? So what do you think? How did we come up with these numbers? Nobody gave us this number. No religious books is telling about these numbers, right? So what we did is over the time, we got as many samples as possible from the population, and we did the work on every single sample, and then we came up with these numbers. So if these numbers are true, this is going to be true for the entire population all over the universe. Whether you talk about the people in India, or you talk about the people in US, or you talk about the people in Mexico, whatever it is, if the BMI is less than 18.5, that means he is going to be underweight. So the number should be somewhere between 18.5 to 25. Again, you cannot expect every single individual to have the BMI as 22. So that is considered as the center or the mean, which is 22. On either side of the band, you see that the margin of error is there. So you have the plus margin of error, the minus margin of error. So the boundaries or the range of numbers in that band, for example, for the normal people, it is 18.5 to 25. So that's where you are getting the margin of error, because every single individual, you cannot expect to have the same center value, which is 22, right? So on either side, you are giving some number. That's right. So just additional information how to get the BMI. If we are in US, then we are going to be using the non-metric system. For non-metric system, this is the formula for calculating the BMI. And if it is other than US, then they are all going to be following the metric system. Then the formula is also given. And the same way you are given the blood pressure. That's another important thing, right? If we are human being, for human being, it is going to be the number all over the universe. So how did we come up with these numbers? It's going to be from the huge population, take as many samples as possible, and then do the work for every single sample. You will see that 95% of the population will capture the true mean or the center, and only 5% is going to be missing if your confidence level is about 95%. So that's where we are bringing the lower limit and the upper limit concept. And when it comes to the blood pressure, obviously there are going to be two numbers associated with, you know that. One is the bottom number or the diastolic, and the other one is the systolic number or the top number. So as long as your bottom number is somewhere between 60 to 80, and the top number is somewhere between 90 to 120, it's you are going to have normal blood pressure. Okay, so that's fine. So you know the consequences of 90 and above, and then 140 and 90, then you need to go for medication for that high blood pressure, right? So what I'm saying is look at the lower number and the upper number, all right? So that's what we are doing in your confidence limits. All right, so now with that said, I'm going to jump into the worksheet that I have posted. Very simple concept, okay? So just you are going to be using the formula, and then usually the critical value, you can just make a formula card or the flashcard, and you can plug it into your TI, and you can get the answer.